Hey, Jordan Myska Allen here with March's question: how does race impact your life, your society, and how should it impact life and society? So, here it goes. Hope you enjoy it. I used to think that I could just ignore race. I mean, it's just human construction and it has consequences in our lives just because we give meaning to it, right? Where to draw the line between race, ethnicity, and culture is just, I mean, impossible question. Science says there are subdivisions of human species, but genetic variation can be as great between individuals in one race as it can between those outside of it. So since the lines are not clear, they must not exist, right? Then, one day, grabbed me by the collar, race grabbed me by the collar, and shouted, "Respect me, Jordan," and smacked me upside the head. Let me set the scene. It's MLK Day, so there's no school Monday, and a bunch of college kids living in a dorm together throw a party consisting only of 40s, the kind of malt liquor sold at Exxon in 40-ounce bottles. It's a somewhat traditional event at this dorm, and everyone usually has a good time, as long as they don't drink too much. This year, though, some drunken bigot writes some shamefully racist comments in the mailroom, the kind of thing you'd expect in the 60s in Birmingham or something. Suddenly, the campus erupts in protests and sit-ins and forums and livid accusations. People need someone to blame. My friend sends an email out to every member of the dorm, excoriating partygoers for being ignorant and racist. Don't you know that 40s are associated with poor blacks? Can't you see how insensitive this party is? Minutes later, another friend fires back a response, questioning her vitriolic language and appropriateness of the response. So we can't have margaritas at a Mexican party? At dinner tables, people denounce the party and its timing. Others vehemently defend it. We have a right to drink 40s. There's nothing inherently racist about that. So what if the timing was politically incorrect? It's our right. It's freedom of speech. People need someone to blame. And I'm prone to arguments on both sides. I think I understand the emotion, but I don't understand the reason behind the anger directed at the party. And the party didn't write the comment, right? People want answers, and we have a forum. Suddenly, all these people are in one room together, and we're about to go for each other's throats. People want answers, but there aren't any answers. It's not easy. People demand an apology. Others refuse. I refuse to be seen as a collective. I am an individual. Others suggest that we be colorblind. I'm friends with people, not people of certain races. Others still want blood, and to them, Sid is a racist college. At this point, the debate over where to draw the line between race and ethnicity becomes a moot point. The lines have been drawn, and we have to deal. I may not agree with the lines, but I still have to respect that other people live and die by them. I don't have to personally live by them, but I can't act like no one lives by them. That's just denial, and a far cry from the reality that we live in. To ignore this fact denies all possibilities of reconciliation. In the same way, I may not agree with the reason behind the racially charged emotion that I mentioned earlier, but I can't condemn the emotional person because of it. All that does is propagate hate. And personally, I'm in the business of spreading compassion and understanding. I first personally felt the power of race when I lived in Ghana 2 summers ago. In small villages or remote neighborhoods, some young children would run screaming and hide behind their parents' legs, peeping through with tears at the first sight of fair-skinned human beings. I was inevitably treated like an outsider by most, but I also grew incredibly close with 2 Ghanaians that I lived with, Theo and Kwame. I learned from them that you can recognize and acknowledge physical and cultural differences and still be best friends. I still keep in touch with them, and I've found out that sometimes acknowledging our differences allows us to get even closer and discover things about ourselves we might otherwise never examine and come to understand. In Ghana, it is very common to greet a white person with the phrase, "Oh Bruni, how are you?" roughly meaning, "Hey white person, how are you?" It is then perfectly acceptable and encouraged to reply, "Obibini, meuye." It's basically black person, I'm fine. The race awareness is explicit and common, but it holds no negative connotation. Certainly, Ghanaians have their own share of racial and social tensions, whether directed at Nigerians or just wealthy individuals. But for many, the division between white and black is just what it is and nothing more. This is how I think race should function in society. Differences are recognized and transcended. Thanks, guys. Just wanted to give you 2, personal examples, and hope those could illustrate some of my thoughts on, race and racial identity and what it means. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and Hope you get in there and have some good conversations in your own lives.